Okay, so you have the unenviable position of drafting from the 12th spot in a 12-team league, full PPR, irrelevant, really. I mean, not totally irrelevant, but let's just say PPR, 12-team league, pretty traditional settings, and you're screwed, right? Because you have the last pick in the draft. I don't think so. I think this is a sweet spot. You can let the draft come to you, and I'm going to show you how to draft a winning team from this slot. You're not going to get Jamar Chase. You're not going to get Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan or Jettas or CD, and that's okay. There's plenty to like out there, and you can draft a team that will win you a championship or at least get you into the playoffs and give you a shot. And really, at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. I just did a video about doing this from the number 1 slot, which you would think is really easy. You get the best pick of the draft. You can take whoever you want to start, but believe me, drafts can go awry if you don't have a strategy. But your strategy cannot be like concrete and set in like I'm going to do this, this, and this, and I'm only going to ever do this. You have to adapt. You have to make sure you're still getting depth. You have to get good value. So this draft necessarily isn't going to be perfect. I'm not going to redo it. I'm not going to make it perfect so I look smart or whatever. The point is to walk you through in making the best decision possible. And one really good way to do that is to use this tool from Fantasy Pros, the draft simulator. I'm not selling you anything. I don't have an affiliate link to give you. I just use it, and it's great, and I really like it. It's going to give you information and data and all kinds of fun stuff, and you're going to see some of that stuff as we do this, and hopefully that's helpful, and hopefully I am helping you at the same time. If I do, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. This is mostly a DFS channel. We cover all DFS stuff, and you can hit up our Patreon and Discord for just $5.99 a month. But I also love Redraft and Dynasty, and I'm always in it and playing it. So I want to help you as well. So let's get into it. So we already, all the picks went off the board. All the guys that you really like and you talk about all the time, they're gone. So you're sitting there at the 12th spot. You don't know what to do. You can pick Nico. You can pick BTJ. You can pick Drake London. There's Genty. There's Achane. There's so much to do here that actually is still very exciting, and I wouldn't blame you for most of it. So I think the first 2 picks, it kind of is what it is. You're going to have your personal preference. I'm going to have mine. My favorite wide receiver in this range is Brian Thomas Jr. I'm not just picking who the experts say is the best option. That's just not how I roll. I'm going to pick who I like the most, and we're going to go from there. So you certainly can go wide receiver. You got 3 wide receivers at a minimum. You have a flex spot, so you could be rolling those 4 wide receivers in a full PPR. I don't have a problem with that. The only issue is there are only so many like stud running backs. So you just have to pick. You have to go get one, in my opinion. You have to get at least one. You already got your stud wide receiver in Brian Thomas Jr., or maybe you went and got Nico. Whatever the case, you got one. Now go get a running back. Maybe you think that's Genty. That's fine. It could be Genty. Genty is a stud. He was a phenomenal college running back, and now he's coming to the Raiders, who have a new look team with Pete Carroll and Geno and all that stuff. But their offensive line is still trash. He's still a rookie, and we just don't know how much we can trust him. For me, when you look at the splits with Devon Achane with and without Tua, it's pretty damning. It's pretty damning. Like, it's not good. Like, if Tua gets hurt again, he's going to be in trouble. But if Tua doesn't get hurt again, Achane's going to be amazing. Okay, so I'm going to take a chance on that and put him in as my RB1. Just the ceiling is immense, and I'm going to take advantage of it. Let's see what we get, and we'll kind of survey the land and see what we want to do as the draft unfolds. All right, so here we are. Oh, I really like Garrett Wilson. He's gone. Maybe when you draft live, he won't be. If he's available, take Garrett Wilson. We'll just check and see what's available at every spot. So first at running back, we can go back and get another RB here just because if you don't pick one in these next 2 picks, it's going to be bad. There's not going to be a lot of good ones. So Alvin Kamara, I still think is a really good PPR back. He's going to have either Spencer Rattler or Shuck like throwing him little tiny dips because the Saints aren't going to be good. And he's going to get a lot of dump offs. I know he's 30. He's not quite the most efficient runner anymore, and there's always a possibility they bench him or even as he's aging, he gets hurt. But as far as PPR goes, as far as his role goes, he looks phenomenal. Is he a little bit risky compared to somebody like Omarion Hampton, who could be an absolute stud with, Najee Harris dealing with the eye issue? Yeah, kind of. So absolutely, I'm looking at Hampton as well. Over at wide receiver, Devontae Adams, in theory, if we're looking at last year and his overall body of work, he looks like an insane value, right? Almost a 4th round pick here for a guy who we know has proven top 10, top 5 upside. Only issue is Matthew Stafford has like a major back ailment. He is on a new team, and Puka Nacua exists. So is Devontae even for sure the wide receiver one on his own team? I don't know. I still think the Rams are probably going to pass quite a bit. So if Stafford's healthy and the volume is there, I think Devontae is fine. I just think I think it's a little bit riskier than people care to admit. I think in this range though, it's tough to really argue against Devontae and to take him or to not take him over any of these other guys with him still on the board. That said, I'm going to probably stick at running back here unless there's Brock Bowers is long gone. So with no amazing tight end pick calling out to me, I'm going to just see what else is left, and it's just going to be running back, and I'm going to go upside here with Hampton. Not going to double dip and get 3 running backs here because this is full PPR, so we do need to get those points. I think Devontae and Mike Evans, kind of similar. We just know Adams does have a higher ceiling as far as demanding targets and getting more receptions, and he can get plenty of touchdowns as well. I do have a lot of interest in these other guys. Really like Waddle, really like McMillan, really like DK. I just think even with the question marks, Devontae is the better value. So if things break right, we're looking pretty good here. Achane, Hampton, monstrous upside, huge roles, big ceilings. Brian Thomas Jr. was amazing last year as a rookie. Adams looks really good. I'm not going to pair Travis Hunter with Brian Thomas Jr. I'm just not really into Travis Hunter that much personally. Olave, if he can stay healthy on a team that's going to be playing from behind and passing a lot, looks really good. I like him a lot. At tight end, there's nobody that's standing out that I have to get in this range. The one I would look at is not Hawk or Kelsey or Ingram. Like, by the way, I do think Ingram's a really good value, but not here. Laporta in round 5 is very appealing. So I'm definitely going to consider him before I pull the trigger on anybody else. Not yet going to pull the trigger on my 3rd running back, but if I did, it's going to be RJ Harvey, and I might actually do it the next pick here. So I'm really looking at Olave, who feels like a crazy value, Laporta, and Harvey. All those guys look really, really good. It just kind of depends on which direction you want to go with your team. And Waddle here was picked just a few picks ago. If he was still on the board, I would have a lot of interest in him as well. So first, we're going to go get Olave because we know if Olave is healthy, he is an amazing wide receiver 3. In a full PPR, you want at least 3 wide receivers. Well, you have to have 3 wide receivers, but you want to have the ability to have 4 stud wide receivers in your lineup if you can help it. Certainly, if you want to take the chance on Travis Hunter as your wide receiver 4, that sounds pretty good. Jerry Jeudy, totally fine as well. Stephon Diggs as a wide receiver 1 in New England. I don't have a problem with any of that. I think that all sounds good. RJ Harvey, though, is kind of calling to me. Again, I do like Sam Laporta. If he's going to slide you at like 6'1", that looks pretty good. But he is not a better value to me than RJ Harvey, who is a monstrous flex play. Sean Payton's probably going to run him into the ground, and he is going to be a beast. All right, let's see what else comes our way. I do like Jaylen Warren. I do like Tyrone Tracy. I don't really like Etienne. I think the role could be okay. And he is a decent talent. I just am a little bit worried of them having a little bit too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak. We can go back to tight end and see who's there. At this point, if you want to go with Evan Ingram or Njoku, even Mark Andrews with Isaiah Likely banged up, I don't have a problem with any of that. I think they are good values for sure. The one I'm highlighting the most is Tyler Warren. These guys are safer, but Tyler Warren has way more upside, in my opinion. A wide receiver, Rome Odunze, does have really good upside. Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings. Good luck picking which one's going to hit. My money's on Pearsall. And then you have Egbuka down here as well. All those guys are very, very appealing. So we do have 2 picks in a row. That's the nice thing about picking 12th is you keep getting 2 picks. Every time you pick, you can go grab the 2 best players still on the board, and that always feels good. In my opinion, we are 6 picks in here, and we don't have a weakness yet in our roster, which is really exciting. You do want to survey the land, though. As we're going, is the next running back or wide receiver – are you getting such good value that you can keep staying away from that tight end or quarterback as we look to also obviously fill our starting lineup? In my opinion, we're getting close to the point where fading somebody like Kyler Murray who is lingering is going to be tougher and tougher to do. So I do like Warren. I do like Tracy. If I was going to pick running back here, it would be Tracy because very explosive, and Cam Scatabo is dealing with a hamstring. So I think Tracy could end up having a lot more volume than anybody's willing to admit. At wide receiver, I don't mind Odunze or Pearsall, but they are not calling to me more than Tracy. And at tight end, I think the value here is good. But Warren, I'm going to take the chance that I can wait until my next set of picks and get him there. If not, lesson learned, and we'll have to reach for him again like I did in the previous drafts. But that is my strategy there. And at this point, Kyler Murray is going to be the guy I grab. And then my next pick, we're going to go back over and grab Tyrone Tracy. So feeling really good about that because we know, Kyler Murray certainly has his, shortcomings, and that's not a pun. But we know he has his flaws, but he is a dynamic fantasy quarterback, and he has top 10 ability every single year. He's been within on the cusp of top 10 ability. And just like injuries are really the only thing that derailed him. So as long as he stays healthy, he's an awesome play and a really nice value in round 7 here, almost round 8. And, then we have Tracy as my RB4. Like, that's amazing. Tracy just straight up off the bench. I like that a lot. And then now we're at the point where, like, the depth is so good. We have 3 rock solid wide receivers and 4 really good running backs that we can literally do whatever we want. And we can go get our tight end if we want to. And we can start swinging for home runs and taking chances. At wide receiver, still really good options. We can stash Ayuk on the IR. We can grab Pittman for just a solid safe play. We can take a swing for a high upside pick with Matthew Golden. We could take a chance on a developing guy like Keon Coleman, another rookie like Luther Burden. Just lots of decent, interesting wide receiver plays that are all very different, but are all very appealing in their own way too. We can also come back and look at tight end. Like, do we want to go and do what we were aiming to do before at tight end? And I think this is where we probably need to pull the trigger and just reach for somebody like Tyler Warren. I just think he's going to get a lot more volume than anybody thinks. And I think the Colts are going to be playing from behind a lot. And they're going to end up throwing a little bit more than anybody cares to admit as well. At running back, some okay depth pieces here. Jayden Blue, Ray Davis, Braylon Allen, Dylan Sampson. If I had to pick somebody here, it would be Dylan Sampson. I just don't think you have to go do it yet. So I would probably go kick back and get somebody like Matthew Golden for maximum upside at wide receiver. We'll see how this kind of wraps up here. See who else. Luther Burden looks like a good value. Trey Harris. Not guys that I necessarily feel are in for monster 2025 campaigns, but they are guys that are very talented, should have some type of role right away, and do have ceilings to bring to the table. At running back, Braylon Allen, Bashel Tutin, Jalen Wright. These are just guys, Blake Corum, all really good, talented RB2s on their own team. That they need an injury. Well, Tutin's not an RB2 yet, but still, they're very good players that just are going to need that opportunity. And, you can't really predict it. You have to take a shot and draft some of them and hope it kind of goes your way. Jalen Wright also doubles as a nice handcuff. So I am actually going to grab Jalen Wright just in case the Achane thing doesn't work out. If he gets injured and he ends up being a bust, at least I have his handcuff and I don't feel too bad about it, right? All right, and then we're kind of going to go look around real quick, see what else is there. Wide receiver, we already talked about that. Tight end. Now, I don't like to double dip tight end very much. I like to just take my chance on Tyler Warren, but I got him, and now I can still go get somebody who is a lot safer, and I'm actually going to do that here. I didn't have the opportunity to do that in the previous draft I did, the other video, but when you do have that opportunity, you have depth, and you feel good about the rest of your team, you can take chances like that. Do I normally roll with 2 tight ends? No. But I like that I did take a risk and got a high upside guy in Warren, but then went back and got a safety net in Njoku, who absolutely has a high ceiling in his own right, but it's just a way safer play, and I still was able to get him. Is it always going to work out that way? No, but when it does work out that way, you got to take advantage. All right, so Kyle Williams is a really interesting prospect. That is a nice little stash we can have at the end of our bench. So I'm definitely looking at him. Go back to running back. Lloyd, Woody Marks, DJ Giddens, all these guys, they are a lot of very good, shots, little darts late in the draft that we can take. Just a real quick assessment of the roster. We have 3, 4, 5 running backs. Probably need to take some stabs at wide receiver to close this thing out. And I'm definitely going to go do that with Kyle Williams for sure. I think he looks really, really good. Don't need a backup quarterback with Kyler Murray. I think you could consider it just because he does have a little bit of injury history. So Dak, May, Love, even CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, these guys all look like really good values. Caleb Williams, sure. Don't mind it. But those guys are all good values if you want to do that. Once again, since it is full PPR, I think going and getting another wide receiver to close things out is probably the way to go. Just kind of seeing if anybody is not really fully. I'll take a chance on Jack Bech instead of these other guys, just because I like taking a chance on these rookies who are super talented and could carve out a big role, and just see what happens. Like if we go 4 or 5 weeks into the season, we can start dropping these guys and not really bat an eye about it, and then go pick up somebody else. But until that happens, we want to have that upside on our lineup and tap into it if we're able to. And again, I remind everybody when we're doing these things, I would probably just pick 2 more good prospects, whether it be a backup quarterback, another running back, another wide receiver, instead of taking my defense or kicker, but just to fill out the lineup. The Lions defense, I don't think so. So a lot of the good defenses are off the board here. Tried and true 49ers, I think that's okay. I think the Packers defense is going to be a lot better this year. I think the Rams are okay. Nobody here. Bears defense is also really good. I didn't see them, but they would also be a good pick. But 49ers are stable. Jake Bates, one of my favorite kickers. Lions trust him a lot. They're going to take a lot of chances, obviously going for it a lot. But yeah, he's a really solid kicker. So I like that he gets a lot of opportunities. B- grade out of the 12th spot. I actually don't mind that. Still a passing grade, and I think we built a winning lineup here for sure with monster upside. It is what it is. You don't have one of those locked in, surefire, top 5 plays when you're drafting from the 12th spot, but you do have just monster guys in Brian Thomas Jr., Devon Achane, Kyler Murray. All these guys, those 3 guys in particular, absolutely have top 10 ability. And then we are rounding this out with some really high upside rookies in RJ Harvey, Tyler Warren, even Matthew Golden, Marion Hampton. They're not just high upside rookies, though. These guys they're going to start and they're going to be super productive immediately. And then Chris Olave is just a really good value. And we have some solid depth here with Tyrone Tracy as well. Some of these other guys, it is what it is. Jalen Wright is a handcuff. Kyle Williams, Jack Bech, we don't know what they're going to be. We'll just have to hope that one of those guys do hit if we're relying on it in this specific team going into 2025. All right, so mostly though, that just shows you can draft a winning, deep, versatile lineup from the 12th spot. Absolutely. Also, you might do things a little bit differently than I did, and that's totally okay as well. Like maybe you just hate Brian Thomas Jr., you're not in on Devon Achane, whatever the case. The point is you can construct a winning lineup from that spot. So don't think for a second that you can't. All right. Hopefully that does show that for you, and it helps you out as you prepare for your 2025 draft. If it does, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and come join us in the Discord so you can also come and try to win in NFL DFS and all other DFS sports as well. Thanks for watching, and good luck this year.